You know how you go to the office and you have a certain mindset of what I need to do today, and then you get distracted, and next thing you know, the day's over, and you really didn't get to what you wanted to do, and you can't even remember what you did do. So you go home that night and you sit down and like, what happened that day? I want to explain to you how a mindset shift is so important when you're selling your company. Hi, everybody. I'm kdee, President of Osage Advisors. Welcome back to our podcast, Ins and Outs of Selling a Business, this week's big hurdle. So we're dealing with a couple situations with clients that are selling their companies today. And the mindset is when you're in a sales mindset, getting ready to get to a letter of intent, and then there's a mindset closing. What do I need to do to close the deal? It's very natural as owners that you're somewhat protective, cautious, close to the vest when you're going through the initial sales process because you're likely doing it for the first time and maybe hopefully the only time. And so you kind of have to kind of navigate the landscape. So that's our job, right? That's what we do. We're helping you navigate why we release certain information, why we have these certain conversations, what we should talk to them about, what we shouldn't talk to them about, how we present ourselves. Because we're selling the business, but also selling yourself that the buyer really wants this company. But what happens when you get to that buyer, right? You've signed a letter of intent. You've talked to multiple buyers. You got the number, the valuation you're looking for, the terms and conditions are in place, and now you have a letter of intent signed. And now you have a window, typically 60, 90 days to close, timetable. So at that point, and we're having this conversation with a couple clients now, is that you now have a willing buyer at the price that works for you. You're a willing seller. So now the communication is going to ramp up. Instead of maybe having a meeting with somebody, now you're going to be speaking with them regularly. You're going to see them regularly, either via video and or in person. And you have to kind of shift because transparency is critical and communication is essential during due diligence. You can't put up roadblocks. The buyer's going to come to you with an information request, and you're going to pull back and say, "Whoa, there's a lot of information here. Do I really want to give it to him?" And the answer is, if you want to do a deal, you have to give it to him. You got to switch your mindset. It's like, I want to make this deal happen. Now, there's ways of navigating the release of certain information to give you some comfort, but it's essential that you are a committed party to this. Because if you're not a committed party and you throw up roadblocks, the buyer's going to pull back and said, what are they hiding? Natural reaction from their side. What am I hiding? So maybe I should rethink this. Or they're going to even dive deeper into your information, into your records, into your operations, into your personnel, into your social media, into your cyber, everything. They'll take a deeper dive because they're almost a bit concerned that maybe we're missing something. That's the last thing you want to happen. You want to produce the information they want on a timely, efficient manner based on the schedule that works for you. Us as your advisor advising you. For example, we had a conversation the other day, and the first thing the buyer said, I want to talk to your customers. No, we're not there yet, right? Yeah, we'll introduce you to our customers, but first, do your financial due diligence. They call it quality of earnings in the trade. Do your financial due diligence. Get your report that your accountant produces that verifies the sales and profitability, so we're all on the same page, right? And then once we have that number and we've accepted it and where everybody, meaning the buyer and the seller, has accepted it and we're moving on to the next phase, we get into the next aspect. Maybe, I want to talk to your employees. No, not yet, right? We will open the door to certain employees of the company. Now, again, you may have had certain key employees involved in the sales process, so they're attuned. But that next level employee in the next phase, let's get the legal documents working, right? Let's make sure that we have a consensus on the contract. And then we say, okay, we have the financial done. We're essentially in good shape with our legal documents, maybe a few open items, but there's not a major hurdle, right? We'll find a compromise solution that works for both parties. Then we'll have that conversation with our customers, set up a call with them. And a lot of owners are really nervous about this part because, they know I'm selling my business. The reality is those customers of yours are getting calls all the time from other suppliers, right, that are selling their companies. So it's not unexpected. Sometimes it's advantageous. Sometimes they're happy to hear it. They're happy for you as an owner. But you can't hold back and just say, no, I'm not doing that. Because that will likely, in most cases, just kill the deal right there. You got to shift your mindset to a point where, okay, I have to be more transparent and open and communicative about not just what I provide prior to LOI, but now they're going to take a deeper dive looking at the details. Financial, sales and marketing, your personnel. And when you have those conversations, and you may wait to the very end before you make an announcement to your employees. Some owners are more transparent up front and they disclose. Others wait till the last minute. That's your call. That's your decision. As a business owner, when is that right time? But it's important to have a mindset once you sign a letter of intent that I am going to do what it takes to get this deal done. I am going to provide the information necessary to get this deal done. I'm going to time that information out in a way that I'm comfortable, but I need to provide it. For example, like I said earlier, we want to talk to your key customers. The answer is, yeah, I'm happy to have you call my customers, but let's get through financial due diligence. Let's get through the legal documents. Let's get closer to the closing date, and then we'll have those calls. Versus saying, no, you can't call to my customers. That's not a response to a buyer. It's all about timing it in and having that conversation. And usually the best way to do that is through folks like us, like Osage. We'll call the buyer up and say, look, we understand you want to do this, but here's what we need to do first. Here's second, third, and then we'll have that customer conversation. That way you're protected. The emotional concern aspect of that is they don't see that. You run it through us. Why do they need this? We explain why they need this. We explain and work with you on a timing of release information. But you got to get to a mindset is that this stuff is going to be required. It's going to be necessary, and it's going to produce the outcome that I agreed to in a letter of intent. So think about the mindset. It's very important. Have any questions, just feel free to pick up the phone and give me a call at 860-767-3273, extension 1001. Or you can email me at kdee@osageadvisors.com. Mindset's critical. Having a right mindset to get the deal done is imperative to your benefit. Hope this helps. Thanks for being with us. Have a great day.